And good morning, everybody. It's Dan Latto speaking. Hope you're well today. So welcome to the Business Growh Show. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I've had my booster a couple of days ago. My shoulder is agony. I'm not sleeping and just banging headache. Anyway, you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about the 4 different parts of your business that you need to be working on. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So anyway, welcome. Thanks for joining us as usual. I apologise for being a little bit this morning. But anyway, there you go. Okay, so there's only 4 parts of a business, really. And obviously, I know that people are going to say, no, Dan, there's lots more. There's like 100 different things or 200 different things. And you've forgotten about this and you've forgotten about that and so on and so on. So, and you're right, but basically, there's only 4 subsections. And then everything else is broken down into, further depth of each subsection, if you like. So chances are that you're going to be really good at one of these. And because that's why you got into business. You might be a plumber, for example. So the delivery of plumbing is what you do. And then you're dreadful at maybe all of the others. Like your marketing's terrible, your sales are terrible, your accounting, well, plumbers and accounting. I mean, how much do we even need to say about that? Right. So excuse me. Let me just grab a quick drink. And you going live this morning might be a mistake, but anyway, let's crack on and get through it. Let me just get rid of that spam comment from YouTube. Okay, so let's talk about the 4 different areas then. So you've got marketing, you've got sales, you've got delivery, and you've got accounting. Chances are you're good at one of these, but you're dreadful at the other 3. So which one are you good at? First of all, that's the question. And then what can you do about the other 3? Do you just ignore them, hope they go away? And by the way, we've been there. When we first started our lettings agency, we were really good at sales. I mean, in fact, we were good at marketing, we were good at sales, and we were good at delivery. And you know what was really bad? Our accounting was dreadful. And even the delivery, I would say, was a little bit suspect sometimes because although we were able to rent properties out really, really quickly and we had lots of marketing, we didn't have any actual systems in place. And the systems that were in place really came under the delivery section of what we were doing. And so we brought somebody in to help us put systems in place. And boy, when those systems hit, the business went up and up and up. I mean, we doubled revenues for like 4 years straight. Like 4 or 5 years, I can't remember what it was, but we doubled revenues every single year, and it was truly amazing once we plugged in some of those gaps. And so your job right now is to identify what are the gaps in your business that you need to plug. What are you really good at? What are you not so good at? So let's break them down and we'll go into them one by one. So obviously, and we're going to do these, by the way, in order. So one of the things that you need to be really good at is marketing. And we're doing these in order. So you can't sell anything until you've marketed it in some way. You can't deliver a service or a product until you've sold it. You can't account for it until you've delivered it, right? Generally, more or less, that's how it works. But in the first section, or the first instance, you've got to market whatever it is that you happen to do. And most people generally are not very good at this. I would say, in fact, most people are really good at the delivery aspect of their business. Excuse me. Good at the delivery aspect of their business and not very good at the other things. So let's break them down. It's not even like you have to do the marketing. You can employ someone like us. We can do it for you. We always suggest you do a little bit, like going live and that kind of thing, as we've talked about before. That's the secret sauce, really. Actual content that goes out on a regular basis, plus you going live, it really makes a big, big difference. But if you're not good at marketing, just outsource it, get someone else in to do it. And people go, well, I haven't got the money to afford marketing. And it's like, yeah, I totally get that. In which case, you've got to do it yourself. And it's about, working out what are the best bits that you can do that don't take up too much time for you. Now, people go, but I don't know anything about marketing, and that's okay too. In which case, the obvious question is, well, how many books have you read? How many podcasts have you downloaded? How many training courses have you been on? And usually the answer, as always, is, well, I've not done any because I'm a plumber or I'm a I don't know, a trainer for a property company or whatever it happens to be. And so if they don't read those books on marketing, they read different books on boiler maintenance or mindset or anything, biographies, anything, but actually solve the problem that they've currently got, which is marketing. So you need to get some help if you're not very good on marketing. Now, there's some really cheap things that you can do that don't cost a lot of money at all. Going live like this, we spent a couple of £100, microphone, camera, a couple of fancy lights. We use OBS, which is the software that we use right now. But it doesn't really cost us that much money. We go live every day. It doesn't cost me any money. I'm a tight northerner, in case you weren't aware. And so, I don't like spending money. So it doesn't cost us anything. I can go live as often as I want. And then we pull everything into a podcast, goes out on iTunes. And all that does is it raises our profile so that people are aware of us. They might not like me. We say this every podcast, so let's say it again. They're going to love you or hate you, and if they hate you, great, they'll never waste your time. And if they love you, awesome, they're probably going to buy from you at some point in the future. Might be 10 years in the future, but at some point, they just might meet up at a networking event and buy you a pint. Who on earth, who knows, right? So your job is really to get out there and get in front of as many eyeballs as you can. And marketing for me is just getting yourself in front of people. That's step one. Get in front of people. Step two is get in front of the right people. Step three is to have some sort of crafted message so that if you're in front of the right people and you're the right person, you've got a crafted message. And then step four is some kind of conversion mechanism. And without that conversion mechanism, all you're doing is putting yourself in front of people without people actually taking the next step, which is hopefully get on the phone or book in a call or send you an email or whatever it happens to be. So we've got a couple of comments. Catching this again. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you. Unfortunately, I can't see your name, but I think it's Anna. Our podcast is all about marketing, completely free to consume. While we're on OBS, it never puts up the names on the screen for some reason. But anyway, so thank you for your comments. Really appreciate that. Marketing for me is like you don't have a business until you started marketing. That's it. I know some people say the work doesn't start until you've made a sale. Well, you don't get to make a sale unless you've marketed it in some way. And so the marketing aspect is really, really important. And people go, well, how much money should I spend on marketing? And people chuck out this random figure, don't they? And we go, 10%? Should it be 10%? And it's like, well, it depends where you are. If you're first starting out and all you're doing is £1,000 a month, 10%, £100, what's that going to get you? Probably not that much. So you might have to do £500 a month just to get the ball rolling. And then as you take on more and more clients, then you can bring the marketing spend down as a percentage. But I'm not a great lover of percentages because also it's like, well, how many hours a week should you spend marketing? I personally spend, half an hour a day, 5 days a week marketing. Like literally that's probably it. And this is it, by the way. This is the marketing. And yes, hi Anna, nice to see you again. Thank you for joining. So I probably spend about half an hour a day on marketing, and then the machine that we've got pulls off, we've got 4 different sections here. So my video editor will pull out the 4 different sections. They'll pull out the MP3 and then we start posting it all out. We've got content creators creating images and videos and snippets and all of that kind of thing. So we've got a whole machine behind us. But me personally, actually physically doing any kind of marketing is like half an hour a day. And obviously, I can't outsource this. It's got my name on the business. I can't get someone else in to do this section. Like right now, I can't. If you look at someone like Grant Cardone, he does. He has someone like Jared. But if Grant Cardone's going live and it's Jared, it's not something that I would actually want to watch. So, because if I'm going to watch it, I'm signing for Grant, if that makes sense. So, if you have a name or face of your business, and I would suggest in 2022 that more businesses are like this, actually. I think that more people are representing their businesses in far more than 10 or 20 or 30 years ago. And I think that's a good thing. I think you should have a persona that you put out to the ether so that people get to know, like, and trust you. Okay, let's talk about the next one then. So once you've got your marketing in place, the next bit then is to have some kind of conversion mechanism in place as well. It's not just enough to market. And as I said before, marketing for me is just getting in front of many eyeballs as you can. But ideally with the right eyeballs, and ideally with the right message, and ideally with the right conversion mechanism. And so a conversion mechanism is just something that gets them to take the next step. And one of the big mistakes I see, people run a Facebook ad, let's say, and it's coaching, it's £5,000, and they're trying to get someone from zero to a $5,000 coaching package with nothing in between. And it's like going on Tinder and then getting a first date and then discussing what you're going to call all your kids. Like, that's just going to scare the other person away, I would imagine. You might get another psychopath who, and it's a perfect match. But that's what I see so many people do in business, and it's not going to help your business. So what you've got to do in marketing is you've got to sell the next step. That's it. Whatever that next step is, just sell the next simple thing. Is it to come and join your Facebook group? Is it to download a free guide? Is it to jump on a strategy session? What is it? And it's just about selling that next step. And once you can get your marketing to do that, then you can start building relationships. And that's really what sales is. Like, it depends on the business, because some businesses are just transactional in nature, aren't they? So if I want to buy, this is a mug, by the way, it's got Coke in it this morning. I know it's early for Coke, but anyway. So if I'm selling this is just a transactional product. We actually buy these from one of the local stores, and you put it in the freezer and it freezes the cup. It's really cool. And then you put Coke in it and it keeps it cold for a while. Awesome, right? So I go to the shop, I buy it, it's a transaction. I don't need a relationship with the person that owns the store in order to buy that mug. But it depends on what you're doing. If you're selling services and you're selling coaching services, do you think it's worth building that relationship? Absolutely. And what aspects of that relationship need to be built? Things like trust, honesty, authenticity. And doing this kind of marketing, do you think this builds trust? Do you think it builds authenticity? It sure does, because what happens is when you then get me on a strategy call, and it happens more often than not, people go, oh, you're just like you are on a YouTube or on Facebook or on social media. It's like, well, of course I'm just the same. I'm not like putting something on. Like, do you think I'd put this on, for God's sake? So we're just like we are normally. And one of the greatest compliments we get while on stage is, oh, you're just like you are on stage, like you are in real life. Funny, smart, debonair. All right, maybe not those things, except in my tiny mind. But this is about you building relationships with your potential customers. And you don't go from Facebook advert to a $5,000 client in one jump. And I see that's the problem that most people are making. So have the conversion mechanism should be something really small, something really simple, something that's designed to build trust, honesty, authenticity, credibility, capability. All those things need to be built up. So like a lead magnet, a training course, training session, that's a really good way of doing it. Okay, so delivery, let's talk about that. So in terms of the 4 parts of a business that you should be working on, obviously, delivery is where you're delivering the product or service to your end user. And so this is the bit that most people are actually really good at. They're really good at the delivery aspect, and they're not very good at all the other stuff. And in fact, if you're a plumber, you can install a boiler, and you do it in your sleep. You've done it that many times. Okay, so for some people, this is the easiest bit. But also, for many of those people, this is the bit that stops them growing the business. So I like to use the plumber example, and it can be any business, of course. But if you're a plumber and you've got 14 boilers to install this week, how many boilers are you going to install? Like, what's it take? A day or two? So let's say it's a day and a half, 7 days. How many boilers are you going to fit? 3? And that's then you're working seven days a week, by the way. And that's the problem, so that you can't actually scale. And so again, you might be really good at the delivery aspect, but the fact that you're really good at the delivery aspect is actually hindering the growth of your business. Plus, it's making you a slave for the business. You've not got a business, in fact, you've just got a job, and the boss works you really, really hard. The boss is you, obviously, because the only way to grow the business is to work more hours. And so we've got to find a way for people to be able to deliver the product or service without it taking a lot of their time. So the best example I can think of right now is obviously our digital marketing company. When we first started our digital marketing agency, I was doing everything: the marketing, the sales, the delivery, the accounting, everything. Okay, so if we were creating 20 images every single month, guess which idiot had to create the 20 images every month? And then you grow it to 3 or 4 clients, boy, you're on burnout, after 3 or 4 clients. And so what we then did was we developed a strategy and a system of being able to bring people on board that were very good at their jobs, like graphic designers and video editors. And then we brought on a content coordinator. So it's, I speak to potential customers, marketing and sales, but I actually have zero to do with the delivery. I've got a little bit to do, like on Facebook ads, on copy, or for advising staff, or for training staff, and that kind of thing. But generally, I do very little on the delivery side, because we've got a content coordinator who is the main contact for the end user. And the end user never gets to speak to the graphic designer, they never get to speak to the video editor, none of that stuff. All communication goes through the content coordinator, and we've got a couple of them. What this means is the content coordinator speaks to the customer tells them what they want to create, 20 images, 5 videos, a PDF, a training course, a brochure, whatever that happens to be. They go off and create it. I have no idea what's going on in my business from a delivery point of view. I have no idea. You're having images created? That's nice for you. Wonderful. Awesome. Are you happy with them? Brilliant. I have no idea, and I don't need to know because it's not an essential part of my business. My personal thing is marketing and sales. The delivery aspect is then taken on by the team. Now, do I check in every so often? Of course I do, because we've got to check that the standards are being maintained from my personal level of standards. And do we speak to end users? Do I speak to end users still? Yeah, not as often as we might have done before the sale, because they've got a whole team of people that they can speak to. Well, content coordinators that they can speak to. So from a delivery point of view, I've now got a business that can scale up. How do we scale the business? We recruit more graphic designers, we recruit more video editors, we recruit more copywriters, we recruit more content coordinators. I can just do this. We might have 10,000 people watching and 80,000 downloads on the iTunes podcast, or we might have 2 people watching and 1 person downloading. It makes no difference to me. I don't do anything different, but we might have 1,000 customers. And so obviously I have to manage the delivery and the resources around that delivery. But just going back to the plumber example again, do you need to get 2 or 3 installers? And this is one of the big bits that you need to work out here is, do you actually employ them full time, or do you employ them to come on a per boiler basis? How are you going to do that? And obviously there's differences there. We like to employ full time. We don't like to just outsource to random people. We want to control everything. I'm a control freak anyway, so we want to control it. And so if we want to give training, well, they better bloody well turn up to training. Whereas if you've got a plumber who's outsourced, they're not going to want to turn up to training because they already think they know it all. And so I like to maintain this hierarchy where I'm at the top and you do as a goddamn say, because I know what I want. And if those people at the bottom disagree with it, that's fine. We don't have to stay in the business. They can go elsewhere and start their own business up. But I've got certain standards that I want to maintain. And so we push that through the delivery mechanism that we've got. Hope that's clear enough for you. I hope that helps. Okay. Let's talk about accounting. So one of the parts of your business that you should be working on should be accounting. Now, this is painful for me. Accounting is, I'm so bad at it. And my accountant, bless him, drives them mad. I get receipts. I'm looking for my envelope. I get receipts. I shove them in an envelope. And then when I next over in the UK, I go around to the accountants and I just shove them some envelopes. Here you go. Sort that lot out. And they hate me for it. I don't care. I'm paying them. But that's my accounting process. But I've got receipts for business and I've got receipts for property. And obviously, some receipts go to the addresses in the UK. They don't come over here. So we have to collate them. We have to bring them all together. Now, I should probably go one extra better and actually put it all on a spreadsheet and so on. But it's worked like this for the last 23 years I've been a property investor, and the last, I don't know how long, 15 years I've been running my own business for, or businesses for. So it's worked so well up to now. Now that process as we're growing the business probably won't continue to work. But then it's not going to be me that does it. At some point when our business grows enough, we're going to have somebody who comes in and they'll be here in Spain and they collate all my invoices and receipts and all, they're on my desk here. There's such a mess of receipts and they shove them in the envelope and they just put them into a spreadsheet. And we're probably actually only a few months away from that. That's one of the plans this year, is to improve the methodology of our accounting. And so as you progress throughout your business growth, you should be looking at, okay, 2022, what's our marketing going to be like? What's the process for that? And sales, what's the conversion mechanism going to be? And can we get it written down so everybody in the business understands what the conversion mechanism is? And the delivery, who else do we need to recruit to add additional resources so that when we sell more, because of the additional marketing that we're doing, we've got more people to deliver the product that we actually sell. And then from an accounting point of view, what's a better way of improving that? So one of the other things that we used to have in my lettings agency, but we haven't got in my digital marketing agency, is monthly management accounts. So monthly management account, and it's a little bit harder, by the way, because I'm here in Spain, my accountant's in the UK, but there is a way of actually doing it. But monthly management accounts is where every month you put all your receipts in, you hand it to the accountant, they do it, they send you a report back, and it'll tell you what your income was, what your expenses were, what your profit has been, and what your tax has been. And that's really cool, because what that allows you to do is actually make sure that you've got enough money allocated to pay your tax bill at the end of the year. One of the big things I see companies doing is they don't allocate tax. They just don't do it. For me, it's actually a line item on my spreadsheet. So we actually move money over to one side into a small savings account, which pays 0.00001% through Lloyd's. So we actually move money over to the tax account so that when we get tax at the end of the year, there's already money available to go to that. And I see a lot of businesses actually don't do that. But actually, we want to go one better so that we actually know how much money needs to be in that account, and we've got a much firmer grip. Like, we've got a kind of an idea, but sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. We want to improve on that. And so as you're going through 2022, you should be breaking down each one of these sections, like marketing. What are you going to do for marketing in 2022? And not just now in January, because you're feeling a little bit motivated, but what are you going to do consistently, week in, week out? You know, are you going to break it down into 52 weeks and have a plan for 52 weeks? Are you going to break it down into 12 months and have a plan for January and a plan for February and so on? How are you going to do that? Like podcasting, for example, when we go live, sometimes we have no idea what on earth we're going to talk about. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, what's relevant today? And I jump on Twitter and I have a look what's going on there, and I might look at a couple of news websites and see what's going on, see what other content other people have put out. And usually it's not that relevant. And then it just comes. And then I'm like, okay, that's what we're going to do. And so is there a better way of doing it? Like, one of our downloads is 52 topics to live stream about. We should actually start sharing that a little bit more. But that's, you know, for people who want to live stream once a week and they don't know what to live stream about. And so it's just kind of topics that they can implement in their business. So it gives them 52 weeks worth. So Anna's just saying tax kills businesses and they ignore it until it's time to pay. Honestly, it's so true. And, you know, my dad actually used to do the same. And he would not allocate the money at all. And then when it was tax, he'd be running around trying to find tax money. And that was a massive lesson for me. And then the other side of it is when we had the lettings agency and we were doing the VAT, we, you know, if you're earning £120, £20 of that is VAT and the other £100 is profit or is revenue, right? So the £20, we would allocate that immediately and that would go into the VAT account. So what would happen every quarter is we'd run the VAT and obviously we'd have expenses where we can claim the VAT back. But it actually acted as a little savings account every quarter. So we'd have, and we're doing £500,000 a year, so it was actually quite a lot of money. Every quarter, we'd go out and buy assets like computers or a new car, a deposit on a car or whatever, you know, signage or, you know, whatever it happens to be. So we'd move that VAT over, and then when we'd claim back our VAT, there's usually a gap between the two, and so we'd move that money over into buying, you know, some kind of big asset. But that was a really good way of doing it, by the way. But most businesses, as you quite rightly say, they just ignore it, and then they get to the end of the year and they've got this tax bill, and they're like, oh my gosh, oh no. And I get it, because it's hard. Running a business is hard. Keeping all these plates spinning in the air all at the same time, it's really, really hard. I don't think people actually understand just how hard it is. And what happens is 20 years into the business, they're still running the business like they used to run the business year one. And I'm like, have you really grown? Like, you're now just working 60, 70 hours because you're all over the goddamn place. Where's your plan? I'm a great believer in planning. People hate it, by the way. I get coaching clients. We do a little bit of business coaching. And I'm like, okay, let's get you systemized. And the pushback that we get when people are trying to implement systems and spreadsheets and strategies. And it's like, no, we want to plan everything. Let's plan the whole next 12 months. What are we going to do in July? What we anticipating that we want to push back in that month, 6-7 months away from now. And so it should be about planning your business for 2022. Anyway, look, I hope that's useful for you. I'm going to go feel ill again for the rest of the day. I slept on the couch last night because my shoulder is agony, so I got 5 hours sleep, not good. I'm gonna go get some rest, and then we'll crack on. Anyway, have yourselves a wicked day. We'll speak to you soon. My name's Dan Latto. Have a good one. Take care.